Hello everybody, and I'm going to be showing you the debate between me and Parlo. But before I start, I'd like to let you know, if you're one of Parlo's fans, he has called you an annoying kid. As you see from this message right here, Parlo crashed out and said, "That's why I wish my fan base was actually mature adults and not annoying little kids." This is a proof as it's a screen recording from his Discord. So I have one question for Parlo fans. Are you going to let Parlo insult you and call you an annoying little kid to your face? Because that's really messed up, considering how you're his fan, and he would say this to you. Comment down below who won, LoopedQ or Parlo. Like if you think I won, dislike if you think Parlo won. Let's roll the debate.
You are going to address points made from this point forward. You do not have to go and defend your point from the past 8 to 10 minutes because, yes, you can't do that. We get that. So we're starting it over because you want a fair debate. Since you say this debate was biased, all the points made before should no longer matter to you. So I don't get why they matter so much to you if they are biased. If they're biased, you should be able to push them off in your own video. Okay? You'll get your 2 minutes. Parlo will get 2 minutes, and then I'll meet him. It's not rocket science. Go.
Those 8 minutes that he said before were full of lies. So obviously I have to debunk them. But basically, Parlo continuously says that apparently I'm, quote, let me see, allowing docs info and Roblox on my server, which I'm obviously not. Obviously, it's against my rules, and this person is a regular member who I have banned, who is no longer in my server, who was never supposed to be in my server to begin with. Honestly, if doxers are in my server, all of them will get banned. If anybody lets me know, they'll get banned. I don't allow any of that in my server. None of my mods have done this, which are actually people that I stand by. So if they did it, okay, then I would be at fault. But since it's a regular server member, you're not responsible for what any regular server members post. That's like saying YouTube is responsible for what random people post on YouTube. That makes absolutely no sense. Obviously, anybody can post on YouTube, and therefore they can post whatever they want. YouTube's not responsible for that. Just like I'm not responsible for what regular server members post in my server. Now, Parlo is responsible for whenever he made a which we all knew was in 2023, a mod in his server who posted lewd images, who has around 3 victims at this time, or at the time that in 2023 had around 3 victims, and it was widely known that he was a Parlo still allowed him to be mod inside of his server, and then created way more victims because of that. The docs information on Flamingo is not real. The number is completely fake. As far as I'm concerned, the person who posted the docs information had no credibility, and Flamingo's name is already public, the address is completely unreadable, and the number is fake. So there should be no reason at all to say I'm doxing Flamingo. Whenever people dox, it's usually with malicious intent. I had obviously no malicious intent with this because I blurted. If I wanted to dox Flamingo, I would not have blurted at all. Obviously, I did not want to dox Flamingo. He's a great guy.
Alright. Electro gets 1 minute.
God, that was boring. Holy sh! I felt like he was like yelling at the people listening more than he was yelling at me. I don't know. I feel like he's incessant. He's
Who's next?
He's very entitled. But wait, whose go is it now? Is it my go?
Believe Electro.
Electro's go. Oh. Okay.
Alright, Electro, you get 2 minutes. Go.
Alright. Looped. Do you acknowledge that XD Gamer, the person who literally brought this up to life, was a predator who was after Parlo and was the sole reason why Homotopia was created in the first place? I'm done.
You're done?
Okay, let me have my 2 minutes.
It was just a question, yeah.
Candles goes next, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, go. Yeah, have lit candles go. Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
Say, as a former friend of yours, LoopedQ, you have been repeating yourself. You've done a lot of whining, and you seem overall really upset. I'm objectively telling you that. Please, you gotta clear your mind a little bit and calm down. You look really bad in this, and I'm telling you this as a friend. You need to calm down. Okay, now with my actual points. So with the Among Us thing, you were like, well, I've changed and this and that. You might have changed, and I'm saying if it's true, the 4 years to not talk to him, that's great. But what I want to say is you playing Among Us with him is normalizing him being like an acceptable person in the community. So that is a bad thing, and I want to put that out there. I'm okay. Another thing I want to go over. So, I'm friends with previous Natty victims, and they have told me, they straight up told me, well before this debate, that Parlo had reached out to them. In your video, you said that you don't believe Parlo was actually doing that or actually trying to get evidence against him. I know for a fact one of my friends came to me in the voice call. I actually might have his voice call recorded because I didn't I was like recording for a video, and they like joined my call and they were like started talking to me about it. They told me themselves that Parlo and Schlepp had contacted them and to get their story about Natty. So I know for a fact Parlo is actually doing this. In your video where you were calling Parlo and trying to elude him, unless you have actual evidence of him grooming a minor while being a full adult, you should not have been making those comments. That was really out of pocket. You made it like 5 or 6 times. You had been saying that in your video. I was shocked, honestly. But yeah. Oh, and with the victim thing, where you were like, Parlo shouldn't be, making comments about that. Victims should be able to make you call out their predators. That's perfectly fine for them to do. Okay, my time ran out. All right.
All right. I'm going to let. Oh my God! Shut up.
Wait, can
I'm
I
going to
respond to what LoopedQ
No,
said? I have some
If possible, can we let Q go? Because then he's going to complain that we let 3 people go and he only gets 1 minute.
Oh my God! Fine.
All right. You get 1 minute to respond to any point of your choice.
I feel as if everybody, if one person goes and they talk to me, I should have a minute at 2 minutes. Then if another person goes and they talk to me again, I should have 2 minutes again to respond to them. You shouldn't allow 2 people to go ahead of me. That makes no sense. But basically, XD Gamer, to answer the original question from Alexa or Electro, whatever his name is. Basically, XD Gamer, I have no idea who he is. Inside of Parlo's document, not really. No, I've never even interacted with him before.
You were told
you're interrupting my 2 minutes right now. Serve mute Parlo. Loser. Anyways, basically, XD Gamer, I have no idea who he is. I don't even think I've ever talked to the dude before. Apparently, he's a horrible person. That still doesn't change the fact that Parlo has admitted to opening up this Discord server, posting a as the mod. Obviously, does some like posting lewd images of himself inside of the chat as a mod that Parlo appointed and trusted in charge of literally minors inside of the server. So, with that, moving on to the whole me posting. Basically, this link was from Ruben Sim, who constantly posts moderation, like does his own moderation thing where he posts Roblox links on his Twitter account. I took this Roblox from Ruben Sim's Twitter account, and this Roblox link I posted inside of the server with a spoiler over it, meaning you have to click it twice, and a warning saying this is reported. And I made sure to let it be known that it was. So I'm not posting it randomly or something, like I just randomly posted. I literally didn't. I made sure it was known. Any minors that clicked it definitely shouldn't have, because I knew it was. So if you click a link knowing that it's, at that point, I'm not trying to expose minors to at all. They clicked it, and if they did, they should not have done that at all, because they knew exactly what it was.
Alright, Parlo, I know, wants to go, so.
I haven't had the ability to speak for like 10 minutes.
Are you
but
gonna
I
ask for your 20 minutes?
That's how it feels. That's exactly how it feels.
Yeah, but I'm not being like a child about it, am I?
You
start the timer.
You are.
Okay.
Alright, yeah.
Okay, you didn't respond to any of Lit Candle's points because you know it was constructive criticism and you're a bitch when it comes to that. 3 of these comments I'm posting right now are different children who said they searched up the docs information you had in the video and they literally found it and proved it to be his. You have no proof that it was different. That's completely unsubstantiated information. You had someone even tell you to blur it out more, but you doubled down in your video like a piece of shit. I'm going to show more screenshots as well all the way down here. Give me some time. Pause the timer. I don't want to. I have like a ton of screenshots from other videos, so you're just going to have to give me a minute. So this is obviously you promoting the OnlyFans right there by not blurring anything out. I've shown other screenshots as well of you allowing my house in the server and that. Clearly, you're going around in circles again, not addressing my original Homotopia response document where I clearly go over why Natty Forsyth manipulated me by doing all of this disgusting fucking shit. You still haven't addressed why allowed in your server and you did nothing to stop it, or why you have absolutely no verification thing in your server to prevent anything from being posted in it. I do like as well how you bring up the situation as well. When you post one link in my YouTuber Discord server, which was meant to be a professional server, reason did
I
you
mean, it
post
wasn't
this
even your
link other
server.
than the
It
fact
literally
that you
wasn't
either
even a
wanted
server.
attention, and you used a little defense that you posted a little spoiler on it, like as if a spoiler would stop someone from clicking the fucking link regardless. Like, you don't understand how stupid that defense is, and you know it's stupid. Your entire argument lands on the fact that you posted a spoiler there as if that changes absolutely anything. Regardless, though, you posted literally in my server where there was children, and you knew there was children, you knew there was minors in there, so you really have no genuine excuse for that. And if we want to play a little like a virtue signal card here as well, in your original video on me, you show Natty Force blur on it, so you yourself are a hypocrite for showing Natty Forsyth's blur on it. This isn't even taking into account the fact that you edited out Flamingo's pants and made him look thumbnail clicks. But if you look, if everyone goes to the comments I have, there are people literally stating they got baited into thinking that there was a flamingo image being shown.
I now have 1 minute 40 seconds to respond to 3 people, so I'll do my best. Alright, so Parlo, basically he's trying to say that I posted this link to minors, and it wasn't even inside of his server, so he completely got that wrong. Kona actually owned the server, it was an entirely different server than the IRYC. The original IRYC, basically, Glomgo still interrupted me, so sad. I had even less timer. He's literally still interrupting me. But let me just go ahead and mute him. I'll just mute him. Alright, so it was not Parlo's server. Parlo did not own the server. It was a different person's server. I got banned from the original server that Parlo owned, so I went to this server. And in it, I did add everyone and post this Roblox link that did have a picture of a woman that was not completely inside of it. And honestly, they got taken down very quickly because Ruben Sim had originally posted it. I took Ruben Sim's link and I just put it in there under a spoiler and made sure it was known that it was. You know who didn't make sure it was known? Flamingo, which of course I'm not hating on him for it, since he probably did not know at all that this link was to account, but his tweet has a link. You click on it with no warning, and it's immediately there. And apparently Parlo has no problem with this, but posting a Roblox link is his problem. Anyways, Lit Candles, I know you were my former friend. I haven't talked to in years at this point, but the fact that I never called Parlo I did say that he reminds me of Scrimzox, which he does. I mean, he's British, and he also has a picture with Scrimzox in real life, which definitely reminds me of him. But I did not say he was a ever. Parlo was not a pedophile. There's no evidence proving that, so I would never say it. Neither is Schlep. I never called Schlep a pedophile. There's no proof of him being a pedophile, so I would never do that. And if there's no proof of somebody being a pedophile, then they're not one. Even if I personally have issues with these people, and I think that inside of the future since the degenerate stuff they've done now is pretty bad, that they could be potentially hiding stuff, and I'm weary of being around them. That does not mean that they're I just compared them to, because I feel like they're pretty similar in ways, especially since they called me out for pretty much the exact same thing,
so I gave you actually 1 minute 30, so now next time, LoopedQ, please don't twist the instructions I said. I said I'd reset it for each person you respond to. So don't go out and say I'm giving you 1 minute 40 when I'm accounting for time you actually lost. So now I'm gonna let Cormix go because he's a victim and he has the right to speak and defend his point. Go.
All right, so LoopedQ, I was one of the minors who saw the link that you sent to the Roblox thing, which was inappropriate. I mean, the only way to report it is if you click on the link and then be exposed to it. There's literally no other way. Like, how would a child how would you click on it, try to report it without actually seeing the real thing? I mean, you're still technically subjecting minors to such thing, which should not be a good thing. You should have left this all to Ruben Sim to handle it, because Roblox was looking at his tweets, and you probably even knew it yourself, probably. And now, the next thing I want to address is the fact that you were trying to insinuate that Parlo will be the future because he was groomed by matrix, and so you're trying to like perpetuate the impression that victims will be future. This is an actual harmful stereotype that literally creates stigma against actual victims who have dealt with the exact same thing that Parlo went through. Do you like even consider what you're saying here when you say stuff like, "Oh, this guy got groomed by a predator, so he's gonna be a predator himself as well"? This is actually really harmful for victims in the circumstance. So, and that's one of the main reasons why I would never say this in any circumstance whatsoever. And this is the main reason why you should never predict like anybody fault, especially in this circumstance. So like at this point, and another thing is about the Flamingo docs thing. Even if the phone number is like deactivated, it can still be reinstated by another person. Yeah, you know what I mean. And once that person gets the phone number, it could probably violate their privacy as well. That's what I'm trying to say here.
All right. I hate when it does that. Okay. LoopedQ, you get 2 minutes to respond. Go.
As a victim, that does not mean that you're going to become in the future. Of course, that doesn't mean that. And matter of fact, I've never stated that Parlo was a. I've never stated that Schlep was. All I said is that there's no proof yet, but in the future there could be proof. Just like in the future there could be proof of anybody being a. And what you should base that off of is his past actions, which Parlo has shown that he's willing to not only defend Natty, but also have Natty as a mod inside of his Discord server with children in it. So obviously, with him having this as a history, I could therefore use that as a way to think that in the future I should probably stay farther away from him, since he could turn out to be a weird person that could later on. That in itself is not stating that he's a at all. All that is stating my opinion and on the situation. I mean, me stating that there's no proof truly shows that I don't think that I'm not saying that he's a at all. And until there's proof released, I will not be stating that he's a. Just because he reminds me of Scrimsocks does not mean he's a. And just because I think that there might be some weird stuff that comes out in the future does not make him a at all. There needs to be hardcore proof, otherwise he's not, and I'll never say he is, including Schlep as well. Sure, I may have said that. I don't know. What I say? Hold on. Let me quote this screenshot. I said, time will tell. No one expected Cassel can either. There's no proof yet. Weirdos get exposed all the time. Just like Potimer. Everybody thought Potimer was a good person. Turns out he's a child. So there's always possibility of somebody being exposed. But until they are exposed, just like before everybody knew that, then you cannot say that. I would never do that. Also, Parlo said I was glazing him, but the video that I wanted was on Potimer. Potimer's a child. Obviously, I wanted proof. That's not glazing.
Parlo,
Oh
you
wow,
are
amazing,
unmuted.
great call. Anyway, yes, you did call me out in the video. You said at the end of the video, what is in the dark, what is dark will come to the light. I cannot wait to see what you've done, Parlo, because I will be the first one to make a video on you. Like, you are the most retarded son of a bitch in the world if you think that I'm not gonna blast you in my next video because you called me and kept insinuating that I'm a. Everyone's going to know it. And as much as you cope and you're going to pretend, you would love for me to, or you love it. You wouldn't give a shit victims. You would love if there was some in this situation because you could finally win your little argument. The argument that I'm going to become the next Natty Forsyth because you couldn't give it. You couldn't give less of that I was groomed or manipulated by her because your entire premise lies on the fact that there is a repeat cycle with this. And you like to discredit anyone who called you out as being a. For example, you would always go over how Kaneko Kitten called you, not Kaneko Kitten, or Kaneko Kitten and Scrimzox called you out, and you got a ton of dislikes for it. And as soon as Schlep did that, you stated verbatim, literally, when I told you that Schlep called you out, you stated that, well, Kaneko Kitten did the same, and he turned out to be. And I said, wait, so you're insinuating that Schlep, and you were like, time will tell. You are clearly insinuating there that there is a pattern of people calling you out and becoming. and you've clearly alluded to the fact that you believe to some degree that Schlepp probably has skeletons in his closet and is a Schlepp saw that. He made a tweet on it. He clearly sees the same thing as well. You're not being slick here. You don't have some form of plausible deniability. Everyone knows what you're trying to insinuate in these messages. You're trying to insinuate that you're the only one who's got virtues, that you can moral ground stand with all of this, and that everyone's in the wrong except you. And I've never seen you want to apologize or take accountability. Unlike me, which I've done in my document, in which you cannot be. I've said my piece.
All right, so me saying that I think somebody might be a in the future is not calling them a. I have the ability to have my own opinion of what I think is going to happen in the future. Whether I think somebody has skeletons in their closet or not does not change anything. That still does not mean they're. That's not me calling them. That's just me saying that, hey, if they are, then I would not be surprised. I mean, obviously, Parlo, you've done some degenerate things in the past, which you have admitted to. You admit to having Natty as your moderator. You admit that that was a horrible idea in hindsight. And you admit that she is, in fact. So I've never done this. I've never had my mod. My mods are completely clean as far as I'm concerned, and have never posted anything like Natty's posted to minors inside of your server. Yeah, and I don't think that the people who posted inside of my server all this horrible stuff, who are not my mods, who are members, should have any effect on my reputation at all. Obviously, I don't want people posting that in my server. It's obvious that that would be a horrible thing to see for me, for anybody else that's inside of the server. Anybody who's done that, report it to me, I'll ban them immediately. I hate all of the people who post, and I never would want them in my server. Obviously, everybody knew that Nathrix was a. Inside of 2023, I hadn't talked to them in multiple years because of this. And the fact that you talked to them and added them to your server, it was just a horrible idea. And as Corman was said earlier, people who have gotten victimized don't necessarily become predators. And I completely stand on that. Just because you're a victim of Natty, that does not mean you have to do the same thing as him. I implore everybody to never become a predator, never do any of that stuff. It's wrong, and I don't want any more victims.
Alright, time's up. Alright. Electro wishes to respond. He will get 2 minutes. Go.
Alright, you said you're gonna ban every from your server, yet you allow Yarrow Gaming in your server to post the very thing you are calling Parlo out on. So it's kind of very hypocritical that you would say you would ban every from your server, yet allow this man who's hosting pics and Parlo's house in your server. You have a logs channel on your server. All you have to do is just look that up, see what Yarrow posted, and then just ban him from your server immediately.
Is that all?
Yep.
Alright. LoopedQ, you get 2 minutes to respond. Go.
Yarrow is not my friend. I have no idea who Yarrow is. I hate the fact that they were ever on my server in the first place. I wish I had known that they were following beforehand, so I could have just banned them. Me having images on my server does not mean I want people coming to my server and posting. I obviously don't want that. I hate people who post. I hate Yarrow for ever posting that in my server, and I never even knew that he was in my server to begin with. I never knew who he was, and I had no idea of the entire situation. Parlo continuously insinuates and says that I allowed people to post this in my server when I didn't. I didn't allow them to do anything. They just randomly did it. I have people inside of my server that are moderators, and I expect them to do their job. Obviously, they banned around 23 people. I have proof of this. After all of this took place, and these 23 people could have definitely been the ones that are posting these disgusting images. I hate the fact that Parlo's house was posted in my server, and I truly take accountability that I should have never had anyone in my server that would do that. Even though technically speaking, I didn't really know that this was even possible. I had no idea that Parlo was posting his video at that time and would cause a whole influx of people in my server that would do such horrific things. I hate that anybody did anything horrific on my server. And the fact that people use these images image privileges that I give to all my fans as a way to show whatever they want. If they have a creative idea or a creative thing, an image that they want to post, I allow it because it makes the server better. But the fact that people use this for negativity just makes me sad. I obviously don't want anyone in my server posting this type of disgusting degeneracy stuff. And the fact that people did just makes me upset because now it's hurt me, even though I didn't do any of it. Like, they weren't my moderators. I had no say in the matter of Yarrow being in my server. And I never wanted in my server at all.
Parlo, do you wish to respond, or can I let the audience?
Yes, I want to respond.
All right, 2
I've
minutes.
noticed that, like,
Yeah.
I've noticed that he's completely dodged lit candles like the entire time as well. He's just like never responded to her. I mean, I believe we've already gone over everything, but LoopedQ, add me back to the server and I'll just look for every single DM message in there, and I will just continue to build up like an ever-growing case against you and your hypocrisy, in the sense that you claim you hold no culpability in what happened in your server, despite the fact that you've put no framework to prevent any degenerate from being posted, yet you believe that I have the full culpability possible in Homotopia. Your only point that you have ever, you literally have no other point. And everyone, just to be reminded once again, for all 114 people here, he completely left Homotopia in the ground. He went to my server, glazed me in it, glazed me on my uploading schedule 2 to 3 weeks ago, and he literally stated that Homotopia was old news and was quote unquote apologized for, and we've moved on. And then in his video, he said the only reason why he brought it up again was because I dared speak to Natty. And what was the speaking? I asked her, why did she groom me, and why is she? Why did she send to Dino Nuggets, etc., 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 etc. Like, dude, you brought up Homotopia in a bad faith manner because you had nothing else against me. You've done that with Guamgo. You slandered Schlep. You slandered me. You've slandered Guamgo. You just had this long history of doing this. And you even tried, and even better, you illogically claimed that I over-censored the Flamingo images, yet you did that to the John Roblox image in order to try and make it look like he posted. You tried to go after John Roblox's reputation and go for his throat over literally just him making. It's like, what? There's nothing there. You've got no substance to go after that guy. And you also illogically go after Shark Blocks for reasons as well. You try and start with people over absolute nothing burgers just so you can get views, just so you can get money, because you get fuck all money because no one watches your videos and you have very low AVD.
2 minutes. Go.
Okay, so I want to be a little nice to LoopedQ here. First of all, everyone that's in the chat, like, making fun of his voice, don't do that. It's not cool at all. He genuinely can't help that. Okay, on to some previous points I want to bring up. So first of all, for the server thing, everyone's been, harping on him really bad for that. I want to say, someone with that used to run a Discord server as well. When you're like a small YouTuber, it's very hard to have like a good moderation system. The only reason why my moderation system when I was a small YouTuber was good was because pretty much everyone that was in the Chloe Games Discord mod team was on my mod team as well. So I had a fairly good mod team. But I've been in a lot of Discord servers with really bad moderation. And it's not like an intentional thing. It's just they don't have like trustworthy people. So I don't think LoopedQ was like intentionally leaving that stuff in his Discord server to like try to like, mess with Parlo or anything. And, I don't know that for a fact. I'm just, playing devil's advocate here. Another thing, everyone was fighting about the moral high ground thing, or like, I think something in his video where he was like, the worst you have against me is like some thumbnails. As a former friend, we all have skeletons in our closet. I definitely know some things about you that isn't the best. I'm not going to bring it up here. I'm not going to leak it. I have the stuff, but I do not have any intention of leaking it or calling you out or exposing you for it. Because I'm a friend of yours, I don't think it's right to, expose people for their past, especially if it's something out of context, something, not the best word. Another thing, the whole doxing thing, I'm going to be honest with you, Looped. It was very poorly censored. It definitely could have been better censored. When I was watching the video, I could not clearly see it, but if I cared enough, I could have figured out what it is. And okay, my time's gonna run out, but okay, that's all I have time for.
Begins now. Go.
I'm gonna address Parlo first, and then I'll address Lit Candles afterward. So Parlo, hold on, let me rejog my memory. Hold on. Parlo was saying that I had pictures of Flamingo and they weren't censored properly. Basically, I had Flamingo's lower body completely censored. Flamingo completely censored or Parlo completely censored Flamingo's upper body as well. I feel like a man can have his shirt off. I don't think that's suggestive at all. Now, in the John Roblox stuff, the photo of the woman, she had her, and basically also, not only was that the case, but it was an anime photo of her, and this anime was also hinting at links and stuff like that, so I felt like it was necessary to just go ahead and censor the entire thing, since, it is pretty suggestive, which I did. Now, when a man has his shirt off, it's completely different. I feel like a man, you don't have to censor that at all. I mean, the upper half of his body, I feel like that doesn't really matter. If kids see a man with his shirt off, obviously if you're outside, if you're at a beach, you're going to see that anyway. Like, come on. I feel like the censoring was not that bad. And on the entire situation where the phone number or whatever, the phone number is fake. Parlo, the only way he says that these phone numbers are real are from random YouTube comments. Obviously, the random YouTube comments prove nothing. I still don't think this dox information was real at all. And since then, I'm sure Flamingo has either changed his number and he's confirmed that he's moved location. So the location for sure is not real or up to date. And the phone number I don't think is real either. I think these people just posted a random phone number with the Florida area code, which is totally possible to do, especially since this Twitter user wasn't trustworthy at all. It's totally possible they're trying to troll Flamingo and just make him upset. The fact that this happened is not at all involving that, and I'm not saying that them having skeletons in their closet or whatever.
Okay,
Can I just speak and just quickly go over why that? I've written on a notepad. On a notepad how this is. So he says he still doesn't think it's real, despite the fact that earlier on recording he said that verbatim it wasn't real. He has no proof that the phone number was not his, and also despite the fact that even if it wasn't Flamingo's personal address, that still puts the family who's living there in danger because it's presented as if it was actually his address. LoopedQ made no effort in that video to clarify that it was not his address. And regardless, he's still coping at the fact that it was poorly censored. He could have easily gone on YouTube Studio to nullify the fact that it's clearly presented on a video with thousands of views. He refused to do that. He, in fact, doubled down on it because he has an ego as big as a balloon. And he showed it in the video. We got privacy struck down. And also the images of Flamingo, he still copes. He says it's censored. Well, are you talking about the video a year ago where you edited off his... I don't know why you did that, but you edited off this grown man's underwear to make him look nude in the thumbnail to bait little children. Yes, you're baiting little children to watch this video because they see their favorite YouTuber. Because you, being the absolute weird that you are, decided to go onto a suggestive gym photo of his and take off his on whatever editing software you use. And if you're talking about the other one, that wasn't blurred it as well. It's stunning how YouTube allows those images in the first place. I got an idea, Luke, here. I'm going to offer a proposition. First of all, invite me to your server and I'll look over everything in that server. And do it right now so you don't purge anything. And two, why don't we report your videos for suggestive images and invasion of privacy? And let's see what YouTube does in response to it. Because clearly, I don't think YouTube will allow content like that on the platform. And clearly, no one's reported the video yet. So are you going to keep the video up with the dog's information? Or are now you going to do something after you've been told that I'm currently going to be reporting your video? Let's see what you do, because if you decide to change it, then you're now coming to terms with the fact that that it's in violation of YouTube terms of service. And I'd also like for you to clarify, because you still haven't in my previous video, why you don't think that it's in a violation of his privacy, or at least whoever lives there, because you could clearly distinguish that information. People in your comments were stating that verbatim regardless. So I'd like to hear what you have to say to that.
So the fact that a man has his shirt off is apparently suggested to Parlo, which isn't at all. And also, I never took the at all. That's obviously impossible. You can't all it is it's an orange blur. What you do is you put an orange image over it, and then you blur the image, and that's it. It's just an orange blur instead of a red one. It's completely blurred. There's nothing wrong with the image. It's not suggestive. And the fact that he says suggestive workout images is insane. These are bodybuilding images. They're not suggestive at all. Having on inside of a bodybuilding image is completely normal. It's any bodybuilding competition allows kids, it allows any of any age, because bodybuilding images are not suggestive at all. Him saying that is just a misrepresentation of the image. Bodybuilding images are not suggestive. They're bodybuilding images. Like, the entire context behind that has nothing to do with it at all. The reason that John Roblox did is because he's posting these images, these suggestive images with the word them, which is a anime site, which obviously makes the image way more suggestive than a bodybuilding image that the entire point of it is obviously just to show the workout progress. So he's just misrepresenting the entire thing in the first place, and also the address inside of the photo is unreadable. Sure, the phone number is readable, and this phone number is fake. I shouldn't have to prove that a phone number is fake, because how supposed to prove a phone number is fake? Obviously, I have no access to Flamingo's real number, so I'm unable to prove that it's fake. Proving that something is fake is insane. Obviously, you're innocent until proven guilty. Like I said with stuff before, Parlo is innocent until proven guilty. Until I prove that he's not one, and I have no evidence that he is one. I'm never going to say he is one until there's evidence released, and that's the same thing goes with Schlep. Obviously, they're not. I have no evidence of it.
All right,
Innocent until proven guilty.
Switch topic.
Alright, so lit
Pick the
candles.
next-
Basically, I know I'm not a perfect person. No one is perfect in this entire world. But Parlo has done way more degenerate stuff than me, and I can openly say that with no type of at all, thinking that I might get exposed later on for something I did. Anything that you're talking about that was out of context was probably from back when I was like a kid, and I still have no idea what it is. I'd like to see any of this proof, and if you show everyone, I would have no problem with it. Obviously, you're my former friend, and you have agreed with me with the fact that I really didn't have control over what was posted in the Discord server, not only because I was not online, but my mods actually banned over 20 people in response to this. And I obviously don't think that everything that was posted in my server was good. I wish that it hadn't been posted. And honestly, the fact that it was is very disappointing to me. Anything that was posted in my server that doxed Parlo, that doxed anyone else, is obviously not allowed. And doxing is with a malicious doxing is with malicious intent. So saying that I doxed Flamingo is completely misrepresenting the topic, because doxing is usually with malicious intent. I had no malicious intent at all when I posted that screenshot. Matter of fact, it was calling out people that were apparently doxing him. With this dox information not even being confirmed real, and the address not being readable. Parlo says that he can read the address, but I don't think he can at all. He'll just say that even though he has shown no proof that he could read it at all. Sure, the number was able to read, but either way, Parlo would have to prove that this information is even correct in the first place for it to be doxing. Otherwise, it's just a random address, and anybody can say that a random address is Flamingo, and that's not wrong in a necessary sense, because just because an address is claimed to be Flamingo does not make it doxing. Like, you could say a random number right now and say it's Flamingo's, and that wouldn't be doxing Flamingo because it's not his number at all. If it's a fake number, it's not a dox. So Parlo is just wrong.